Namaskar, a very good evening viewers. You're watching the news. I'm Bhawna Nayar. This is one bulletin where we provide you all the big developments of the day that made headlines from national and international arena. These are the headlines at 9. Union Cabinet expands scope of the government e-marketplace, includes procurement by cooperatives to help strengthen transparency. Second phase of Har Ghar Dastak COVID vaccination campaign gets underway. Campaign to run till July 31st. For third month in a row, GST collections crossed 1,40,000 crores. Vice President leaves for Senegal on second leg of three-nation tour. Calls for enhanced bilateral cooperation in green energy, services, health, agriculture sectors with Gabon. Meets members of Indian community. Deadlock in Sri Lanka over 21st Amendment to Constitution. Ruling SLPP coalition opposes plan to curtail presidential powers and empower Parliament. A quick look now at some more important stories of the day. Eminent playback singer KK passes away. Vice President Prime Minister expresses grief. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath lays foundation stone of Ram Mandir, Sanctum Sanctorum in Ayodhya. Punjab police makes first arrest in Sidhu Moosewala murder case. Suspect named Manpreet Singh detained in Dehradun. Cabinet relaxes educational qualification for CRPF constable post in 3 districts of South Chhattisgarh. Union Minister Rupala calls for adopting innovative measures of natural farming to save land and water. BJP demands resignation of Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal, Health Minister Satyendra Jain over money laundering case probe. Asia Cup Hockey 2022, India win bronze defeating Japan 1-0. Iran dismisses IAEA's latest report on country's stockpile of enhanced uranium. China says it is ready to advance normal trade with India as pandemic and border standoff further enlarge trade deficit. Hurricane Agatha leaves at least 10 people dead and 20 others missing in South Mexico. And now news in detail. The Union Cabinet on Wednesday decided to expand the scope of the government e-marketplace by including procurement by cooperatives. The decision will include 8.5 lakh registered cooperative societies in the GEM portal. Cooperative institutions and their 27 crore members will be able to buy products from the portal at competitive rates through an open and transparent process. Union Minister Anurag Thakur said self-help groups, MSMEs, small traders have greatly benefited from GEM. In 2017-2018, purchases worth rupees 6,220 crore were done through the portal. This increased to rupees 1 lakh crore in 2021-22.
आज कैबिनेट ने निर्णय लिया है कि सहकारिता में पारदर्शिता लाने के लिए और सहकारिता क्षेत्र को भी इसका लाभ दिलाने के लिए हमारे सहकारी संस्थानों की विश्वसनीयता और बढ़े, जिस तरह से उनका देश भर में कामकाज भी है उसको मजबूती भी मिलेगी और जेम विक्रेता जो हैं को भी एक बड़ा बायर समूह मिल पाएगा.
The Union Cabinet also relaxed the minimum educational qualification for the post of constable in order to recruit 400 tribal candidates in CRPF. Local youth will be selected through a recruitment rally in 3 districts of South Chhattisgarh of Bijapur, Dantewada and Sukma. The Ministry of Home Affairs has approved the reduction of the educational qualification from Class 10 to Class 8. Moving ahead, goods and services tax collections fell to rupees 1.41 lakh crore in May. This is 16% less than April's all-time high of rupees 1.68 lakh crore. On a year-on-year basis, GST collections in May were up 44%. The Finance Ministry said that the collection in May that pertains to the returns for April has always been lesser than in April, and that pertains to returns for March, the closing of the financial year. It said, however, that it was encouraging to see that even in May 22, gross GST revenues crossed rupees 1.4 lakh crore mark. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu left for Senegal from Gabon in the second leg of his three-nation tour. On Wednesday, he met with the top leadership of Gabon to enhance bilateral cooperation. The Vice President attended the event organized by the India-Gabon Business Forum. He said India attaches utmost priority to relations with Africa. The Vice President called for enhanced India-Gabon cooperation in green energy, services, health and agriculture and other areas. The Vice President also attended a function organized by the Indian community in Libreville. He also commended the small but significant Indian diaspora community for its remarkable contribution to development of Gabon. About 800 Indians live in Gabon. They are engaged in infrastructure projects, trade, export of timber and metal scrap.
If you respect the nature, nature will be kind to you. You follow the rules and regulations. Do not create problems to others and do not irritate them. You follow the rules, and then we should all think in terms of a common interest. You know that we are Indians, we are Bharatiyas, we are Hindu, that cultural identity. जो आदि काल से, वेद काल से, पुण्य काल से, पुराण काल से हमारा पूर्वजों ने दिया विरासत में हमको मिला भारतीयता, इसको कायम रखना बहुत जरूरी है.
Moving ahead, BJP has put Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar and Gajendra Singh Shekhawat in charge of Rajasthan and Haryana for Rajya Sabha elections. The contest has been close in both states, with BJP-backed independent candidates entering the fray. Union Minister Ashwani Vaishnav has made in charge for the Rajya Sabha elections in Maharashtra. Union Minister G. Kishan Reddy has been appointed in charge for the Rajya Sabha elections in Karnataka. Elections are to be held on June 10th to fill 57 Rajya Sabha seats from 15 states of the country. The Health Ministry on Wednesday launched the second phase of Har Ghar Dastak campaign. The 2-month-long campaign aims to accelerate the spread of COVID-19 vaccination in all eligible age groups. The campaign will run from June 1st to July 31st with a focus on anti-COVID immunization of children in the age group of 12 to 18 years through a special school-based campaign. More than 193 crore COVID vaccine doses have been given in the country. However, there has been a slowdown in the pace of vaccination over the past few weeks. Keeping these things in mind, the central government has started the Har Ghar Dastak campaign program again. Prasar Bharati CEO Shashi Shekhar Vempati pitched a new way to reaching viewers in the era of technological change in television. He added that the option of data center is being explored as an alternative to mobile tower. At a brainstorming meet with IIT Kanpur on D2M broadcast and 5G broadcast Convergence Roadmap for India, Vempati said there are plans to go direct to mobile phone for public broadcasters like Prasar Bharati. Doordarshan at present telecasts directly from the platform of direct to home and through Dish.
So one of the things that we've been doing since we have phased out our analog terrestrial transmitters is to retrain and reskill engineers so that they can pick up software skills, digital media skills. So that is, I think, one big operational change that has to happen. Second is, what kind of infrastructure do you invest in, right? You mentioned towers. So towers is the legacy image of a broadcaster. In the future, we probably will invest in data centers because that will become very, very important.
And news now from across the nation. Prime Minister Modi on Wednesday met women participants who won medals at the World Boxing Championships. Boxer Nikhat Zareen, Manisha Mon and Praveen Huda shared their experiences with the Prime Minister. Railway Minister Ashwani Vaishnav and Bangladesh Railway Minister Mohammad Nurul Islam Sujan flagged off the Mithali Express between New Jalpaiguri and Dhaka via video conferencing. Maitri and Bandhan Express trains are already running between the two countries. The Enforcement Directorate has summoned Congress President Sonia Gandhi and party leader Rahul Gandhi on 8 June for questioning in money laundering probe related to National Herald case. The ED had recently questioned Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge and Pawan Bansal. The Jammu and Kashmir administration has taken a big step after the targeted killings of minority government employees by terrorists in Kashmir. It has decided that Kashmiri migrants and employees of Jammu division will be posted at safe places in Valley by 6 June. The ban on sugar exports has taken effect from Wednesday. It will remain in force till the end of the festive season in October. India is the largest producer of sugar in the world, but its consumption is also high. Last week, the government decided to set a limit on sugar exports to ensure domestic availability. The Enforcement Directorate has temporarily attached the bank accounts of the Popular Front of India and Rehab India Foundation. This includes 23 accounts of PFI in which more than 59 lakhs are deposited. At the same time, 10 accounts of Rehab India have been attached. Public Sector Coal India Limited produced 1,082 million tons of coal in the first 2 months of the current financial year. This was a growth of 28.8% on yearly basis. The company had produced 84 million tons of coal in April-May period last year. India has cautioned over the heightened threat of misuse of biological agents and chemicals as weapons against the backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic. Counselor at the India's UN mission, A. Amarnath, said new and emerging technologies may increase the risk of weapons of mass destruction accessed by terrorist groups and other non-state actors. Slipping into a short break here, on the other side, a new innovation that could make cement biodegradable. All this after this short break. There's a lot more coming up. Stay tuned to Sansad TV.
खबरों को प्रसारित करने और रिपोर्टिंग में वस्तुनिष्ठता सुनिश्चित करने के साथ ही व्यक्तियों और संस्थाओं पर पड़ने वाले इसके व्यापक प्रभाव जैसी नैतिकताओं का अनुसरण करना अनिवार्य है।
आम जनता भी चाहती है कि मीडिया में जो खबरें आए वो सही हो। सोशल मीडिया इन दिनों निश्चित तौर पर जो भी कुछ हम लोग देख रहे हैं उसका कोई आधार समझ में नहीं आता।
जो हमारे यहाँ पे कानून और नियम है वो अलग हैं अखबारों के लिए और मैगजीन्स के लिए। उसके बाद टीवी चैनलों के लिए एक अलग कानून है। इंटरनेट पे जो अखबार है या जो ब्लॉग है और उस पर जो चीज़ें चलती हैं वो अभी कानून के दायरे से बाहर है।
What is the present situation or the status of Jammu Kashmir before abrogation of Article 370 and after abrogation of Article 370?
After the abrogation of Article 370, you see justice reaching, democracy reaching, economic development reaching, rights for everybody reaching.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching the news. Time now for all the main developments from the Russia-Ukraine war front. The Kremlin has warned a potential global food crisis on illegal restrictions imposed by the Western countries and decisions made by Ukrainian authorities. However, the West has said that Russia has seized large part of its neighbor's coast and is blockading its ports, and it is trying to pin the blame for the lack of grain shipments on Western sanctions and on Kyiv itself. Denmark's largest energy company said Russia cut off its gas supply on Wednesday because it refused to pay in rubles. Russia previously halted natural gas supplies to Finland, Poland and Bulgaria for refusing a demand to pay in rubles. On Tuesday, the tap was turned off on the Netherlands. Russian President Putin declared in the wake of Western sanctions that unfriendly foreign buyers needed to open 2 accounts with state-owned Gazprom Bank, one to pay in euros and dollars as specified in contracts and another in rubles. The Biden administration is sending Ukraine high-tech and medium-range rocket systems. It is a critical weapon for Ukraine to stall Russian progress in the Donbas region. Officials said that the plan was to send Ukraine the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, or HIMARS, which is mounted on a truck and can carry a container with 6 rockets. The system can launch a medium-range rocket, but is also capable of firing a longer-range missile, the Army Tactical Missile System, which has a range of about 300 kilometers. Germany will supply Ukraine with modern anti-aircraft missiles and radar systems following appeals from German opposition parties to step up heavy weapons deliveries to the country. German Chancellor Scholz told legislators in Bundestag that the government has decided to provide Ukraine with IRIS-T missiles developed by Germany together with other NATO nations. Turkish President Erdogan said Ankara has not yet received any concrete proposals to address its concern over Finland and Sweden's NATO membership bids. Ankara has objected to Nordic countries' ascension to alliance on the ground that they support groups it deems to be terrorist. Speaking in Turkey's parliament, Erdogan said Ankara wanted to see a sincere approach from Sweden and Finland regarding its concerns, adding it would not change its view unless it saw concrete and binding steps. Time now for some other global updates. The Sri Lanka plan to give more powers to Parliament through its 21st Amendment while curtailing those of the President is running into rough weather. The ruling SLPP coalition is blocking efforts to bring in the amendment. Arguing the need for the 21st Amendment, Prime Minister Wickremesinghe said it would curb the unlimited powers of the President and strengthen the role of the Parliament. However, the proposal is being objected by the loyalists of Rajapaksa family, especially supporters of former Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's top human rights body has decided not to summon former Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov met on Wednesday in Riyadh with the foreign ministers of the country in the Gulf Cooperation Council. The meeting comes at a time as the US and European Union are exerting more pressure on Moscow over its invasion of Ukraine. After his meeting with Lavrov, the Saudi foreign minister said his country supports efforts aimed at reaching a political situation to end the Russia-Ukraine crisis and achieve security and stability. Sri Lankan Muslims have decided to forgo the Hajj pilgrimage this year due to the worst economic crisis facing the debt-ridden country. Saudi Arabia had approved a quota of 1,585 Hajj pilgrims from Sri Lanka for 2022 out of the 1 million foreign and domestic Muslims allowed to travel to holy city of Makkah in the pilgrimage season. However, it was decided that no Muslim from Sri Lanka would travel for the pilgrimage this time, following a discussion held by several parties. Traffic and pedestrians reappeared on the streets of Shanghai before midnight on Tuesday as China's largest city began returning to normal after a strict 2-month COVID-19 lockdown. Although no official celebration was held, many residents gathered outside to enjoy the long-lost experience of outdoor activities. In Shanghai's landmark waterfront, pedestrians were already seen walking, taking pictures, skateboarding and dancing before midnight in a video broadcast by Shanghai Media Group. The death toll in a catastrophic collapse of a tower in southwestern Iran rose to 37 on Wednesday. Emergency workers pulled another body from the rubble after a week after the disaster that has prompted an outpouring of outrage and grief in the country. Rescuers continued sifting through the ruins of the Metropole building in Abadan, some 660 kilometers southwest of the capital, Tehran. The Watergate scandal that brought down the presidency of Richard M. Nixon enters its 50th year this month. On June 17, 1972, 5 men are arrested in a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate Hotel in Washington. Agents hired by the White House broke into plant wiretaps. While the break-in came into light in June 1972, Nixon and his closest aides tried to cover it up. While details of it emerged the next year, Nixon resigned, becoming the first president ever thrown out of the office. He had been president for 5 years and 201 days. Moving ahead, women from BRICS countries were honored for their innovation and social contributions at the 2022 BRICS Women's Leadership Forum in Beijing on Tuesday. The BRICS Women Innovation Contest selected outstanding contributors in various sectors, including innovation, entrepreneurship, and public health. There were 15 winners of the Mulan Award and 5 winners of the Special Contribution Award for combating the COVID-19 pandemic. Here's the report.
There were 449 nominees for the BRICS Women Innovation Contest this year, more than double the 207 nominated last year. China led the way with 106 nominees, Brazil had 98, Russia nominated 91 women, South Africa saw 84 nominees, and India nominated 70 women. Compared to previous contests, the social roles of contestants this year are more diverse and their industries more extensive. More representative and balanced, the awards are showcasing women's efforts and achievements in their career in a more comprehensive way.
这次选择的，我觉得大部分的还是来自于不同的行业。你像中国的3位获奖者，那有从事这种极端环境的这种科研的，然后有做民族文化的。那我觉得我是一个创业者的这样一个代表。
The BRICS Women's Business Alliance Development Report 2022 was also released during the forum. The report explores the state of women's development in the BRICS countries, identifying best practice cases in each country and putting forward suggestions to combat current challenges to development faced by women. The report showed that 86% women in BRICS countries had received primary and secondary education compared to only 76% in the rest of the world. The report says that BRICS countries have seen a steady increase in female participation in the labor force. It also highlighted strong awareness of entrepreneurship among young women in Brazil, the contribution of women to the management sector in South Africa, and the increasing involvement of women in China's increasing digital economy, which has helped lift women out of poverty. With a declining birth rate and an aging population in BRICS countries, organizers say it is ever more important to enable women to realize their potential. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
Cement is a vital construction material, but its production creates harmful greenhouse gases. 2 Japanese researchers say that they have found a way to make an alternative from food waste. Japan has a big problem with food waste, so the alternative cement could be a useful solution, but there are obstacles to overcome. The new substance isn't waterproof and might attract hungry pests. Take a look at this report.
At the University of Tokyo, researchers Kota Mashida and Yuya Sakai are developing a technology to transform food waste into environmentally friendly cement for construction. They claim the tensile or bending strength of their product is nearly quadruple that of ordinary concrete. It will reduce global warming, solve problems of food waste that emit methane when they rot. Sakai, an associate professor of industrial science, developed the technology while researching sustainable materials that could replace cement-based concrete. Cement production accounts for about 8% world's carbon dioxide emissions.
初めに廃棄野菜がありましたら、砕く必要があるので、砕くためにまず最初乾燥します。で、乾燥させた後に砕きまして、で、得られた粉を熱をかけながらギュッとプレスするという流れですので、乾燥して砕いてで熱をかけながらプレスするという3工程です。
They then turned to food waste to make cement. Now they are working with companies to make cups, cutlery and furniture from the food waste cement.
一番やっぱり大変だったのがその成形、ちゃんと物ができるまでっていうのがやっぱり大変というか、最初粉末を型枠に入れてグッとプレスしていくという方法なんですけど、その粉末入れてある程度時間が経っても全く粉のまま出てきたりとか、もしくはドロドロに溶けてしまったりとか、そういういろんな試行錯誤を繰り返していくというところが最初の部分がやっぱり大変だったかなと思います。
After months of failure, the researchers realized they could get the cement to bind by adjusting the temperature and pressure. Since then, they've successfully made cement using tea leaves, orange and onion peels, coffee grounds, cabbage, and even lunchbox leftovers. They've adjusted flavors with different spices and found that the colors, scent and taste of the cement can be quite appealing. The cement can be made waterproof and protected from being eaten by pests by coating it with Japanese lacquer. The food waste cement can be reused and is biodegradable, so it can be buried when it is no longer needed. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
And from all the innovation to let's now take a look what's happening in the world of sports. Starting with hockey, the Indian men's hockey team beat Japan 1-0 to clinch the bronze medal in the Asia Cup today. It had missed out on a chance to reach the Asia Cup 2022 final after playing out a 4-4 draw against South Korea. India scored a field goal through Rajkumar Pal as early as the 7th minute of the match. Japan pressed hard in search of the equalizer, but the Indian defence stood firm. In tennis, in an eagerly awaited quarterfinals of the French Open, 13 times champion Rafael Nadal defeated arch-rival and defending champion Novak Djokovic 6-2, 4-6, 6-2, 7-6 to reach his 15th semi-final at the tournament. For world number 1 Djokovic, the defeat was his 8th in 10 meetings with Nadal at the French Open. He was the better player in the important moments, said Djokovic. Third seed Alexander Zverev beat Carlos Alcaraz in a dramatic 4-set clash to secure a French Open semi-final meeting with Rafael Nadal. The German claimed a 6-4, 6-4, 4-6, 7-6 victory over 19-year-old Spanish sensation Alcaraz after 3 hours and 18 minutes. Zverev moved into his second straight last 4 match at Roland Garros with his first ever Grand Slam win over a top 10 player. UEFA and the French Football Federation estimate that 2,800 fake tickets were scanned at the Champions League final. The two bodies gave that estimation at a crisis meeting at the French Sports Ministry, it has been reported. The meeting was convened to examine what was behind the chaotic scenes that marred Saturday's Champions League final between Liverpool and Real Madrid at the Stade de France in Paris. Real won the final 1-0. In chess now, Indian chess ace Vishwanathan Anand defeated Maxime Lagave in 40 moves in the first round of the classical section of the Norway chess tournament. The win over the French player late on Tuesday enabled the Indian GM to gain 3 points. Magnus Carlsen had to settle for a draw with China's Wang. In a blitz event played prior to the classical, Anand had shocked world champion Carlsen in round 7 on the way to a 4th place finish. American Wesley so finished on top of the blitz standings with 6.5 points. And before we wrap, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Union Cabinet expands scope of the government. E-marketplace includes procurement by cooperatives to help strengthen transparency. Second phase of Har Ghar Dastak COVID vaccination campaigns gets underway. Campaign to run till July 31st. For third month in a row, GST collections crossed 1,40,000 crores. Vice President leaves for Senegal on second leg of 3-nation tour. Calls for enhanced bilateral cooperation in green energy, services, health, agriculture sectors with Gabon. Meets members of Indian community. Deadlock in Sri Lanka over 21st Amendment to Constitution. Ruling SLPP coalition opposes plan to curtail presidential powers and empower Parliament. And that's all we have in this bulletin. To keep yourself updated, stay tuned to Sansad TV. Till then, goodbye, namaskar.